fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Cordoba, Spain, and today I want to give you our 6 kind of low-key safety travel tips that you can use that people won't even recognize you using to make yourself more safe. And I think the first one I want to start off with is just walking around with local shopping bags. You know, no matter what I do, I will not look like I'm Spanish. I will not look like I live here and I'm from here originally. But if I'm walking around with a Corte Inglés, one of those multi-use bags, then all of a sudden I look a little different to thieves, to pickpockets. Instead of being, oh, that's an obvious tourist, that's, hey, that could be somebody that just lives here because they have the local shopping bag. And that puts you in a completely different category when people are looking to rob people or pickpocket people, okay? So that's a little trick that we've used all over the world, whether it's been in China, here in Spain, in Italy, in Brazil. Just having that local bag you're walking with does put you in a different perspective. And I do recommend it being one of those kind of reusable grocery bag ones, not like just normal bags. Looks like you're a shopper that bought a lot, but just, you know, things, you put your stuff for your picnic in there, you put your things in there, that can help out. I mean, Jocelyn swears by it. She does it all the time to keep herself a little bit safer when she's out, okay? Now, for my soccer-loving and football-loving friends, I do have some bad news for you. Another kind of low-key safety tip I have for you is don't wear soccer jerseys or football jerseys when you travel. Why? Well, here's the thing. You may love Real Madrid, you may love Barca, you may love Manchester, but guess what? There's somebody that probably hates them twice as much, and maybe they have a few drinks, they might say, oh, Manchester sucks just like you, or oh, Real's worthless, and then that can cause you issues. So that's one side of it. But also, some bars and restaurants in certain countries actually have signs that says, we do not want people with soccer jerseys on, or with football jerseys on. So that's another thing. But also, when you're walking around with your soccer jersey on, people see you as a soccer fan, not as a tourist. And think about it. A tourist is there to spend money, see the sights, learn about the culture. A soccer fan is there to go to the soccer game and cheer like crazy. That means they're probably not going to the local restaurant. They're not trying to take in the culture. So why would I spend my time working with them and helping them when I know they're just here for the game? And the thing is, those little things there can make a difference in terms of safety because you can learn a lot more and it might, you know, get you in a little trouble sometimes. Especially if you're in places like Buenos Aires where you have, you know, Boca versus River, and you'll have people literally saying, no, you need to wear the River jersey, you know, with the stripe going this way. And then if you wear the River jersey, people, no. And they'll go like this, like, it needs to be Boca, and so that can cause some issues. Or at least put you in an uncomfortable situation. Now, my third low-key safety tip has to deal with your feet, and that is taking care of your feet, because you're going to be walking a lot, and if your feet don't work, if your feet hurt too much, or if you can't walk very well in the shoes you have on, that is putting you in kind of danger, because sometimes you need to hurry through a situation, whether it's crossing the street because of light change, or you're in a bad neighborhood, or you're in the wrong street, or you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You want to be able to get out of that situation. And wearing flip-flops and slides, they're not really made to move quickly. Also, if you're looking at cobblestone streets that you see in a lot of historic cities around Europe, South America, when it gets a little bit wet, you start sliding a lot. And those, you want to have some good shoes. So with your feet, have good shoes that you can walk in and make sure you break them in. Okay, you don't want new, like brand new shoes when you go travel. You have blisters, it'll be horrible. But also another thing you can do is actually go get a pedicure before you travel. And you may say, well, I'm a guy, I don't do pedicures. I do pedicures before every one of my trips because then I'm not worried about getting ingrown toenails. I'm not worried about my feet hurting too much. It really kind of smooths things out, so it makes it easier for me to walk, and therefore easier for you to walk, get her out of the situations you don't need to be into. So that's another kind of low-key thing you don't really think about. Now, another low-key safety tip that people won't even notice you have is use an RFID wallet and turn off the mobile payments on your phone unless you're actively paying for something. Why? Well, if you're in a busy situation with lots of tourists going around, like La Rambla, you know, in Barcelona, or if you're, you know, at Oktoberfest in Germany, or you're going anywhere around, if you have a credit card that has the contactless payments, people can literally walk up to you and bump into you, and they can get a $5, $10 little tip off of you, and you might not even notice that. Same thing with your phone. They see you pay with your phone someplace and you put your phone back in your pocket. They know where that phone is and they can just walk up, bump into you with their phone. Boom. A little $5 transaction, $10 transaction. And those are things you don't notice. So by having an RFID protected wallet, it doesn't let that happen. Turning off that NFC contactless payment thing, except when you're using it, means people can't do it. It's not anything big you have to do, but it can save you losing $50 because that does happen. Another low-key safety tip, and this is one that's for traveling in general, is just not overpacking, because what happens is people don't realize if you have too much luggage, whether it's too heavy or too many items, you put yourself at risk because you're much more of a target. If I see, oh, they can't handle their bags, well, I'll grab one and they're not going to run after for the rest of them, or that bag's too heavy for them, I'll take the other one, so they're not going to leave it behind. And so it puts you in a bad situation. Safety is also about your health. And I've seen people when they're trying to put their luggage up above the train, in the overhead compartments, they've actually hurt their back. So you got to be careful with that. So don't be overpacking when you're traveling, just because it puts you in a position where you're easy to target, and also you could hurt yourself in terms of your back. So it's not just the fact that you're not going to need the kitchen sink when you travel to Spain, it's also other things as well. And my sixth tip for you is actually make sure you have a battery backup or a backup power bank for your phone. I'm not saying have one of those big, huge ones. I'm saying just have a small one that you can carry with you, whether it's in your pocket or you just throw it in your purse, because I can't tell you the times we've been traveling around Europe, South America, Asia, we're taking pictures with our phones, videos with our phones, and all of a sudden the battery's getting low. And I'm like, do I keep taking pictures or do I stop doing that? But how do I call my taxi? How do I get that Uber or that Lyft or that rideshare to get me back to my hotel? And I'll tell you, right when you need to use your phone to call that taxi or call that rideshare, that's when the battery's going to die. So it's good to have that backup just so you can charge it. Even if it only gives you like a 50% charge back up, it's good to have that for a safety thing. And if you have one of those small ones, I mean, literally like some of them are the size of like a lighter, just put that in your pocket. You have that to be safe, okay? Because that's what I want with this thing. It's just low-key little safe things that you can do. I mean, these are exact things we do when we travel around, and we wanted to help you by knowing some of these low-key tips. And honestly, what are some low-key tips that you all have for people? I mean, there's other things out there, like always take a picture of your passport, your documents, your hotel reservations, your tickets. Do that screenshot, have those and email them to yourself so you have them in case your phone gets stolen, in case your wallet gets stolen. You have it backed up. That's also another like low-key safety thing you don't always think about, because it's a lot easier to get a new passport if you have a copy of your old one, all right? So I hope this helps out. Please let us know your low-key safety tips for traveling. Put it down in the comment section below so we can help other people travel safely around the world. And I'll say bye from here in Cordoba, Spain.